Live from downtown Bakersfield, 23 ABC News Midday starts now.
Good morning and thanks for tuning in to 23 ABC News at 11 a.m. I'm Mike Hart.
And I'm Melissa Flores. We're continuing to follow the very fluid situation involving the coronavirus in California and how local agencies are working to prepare for it.
Though there are still no confirmed cases locally, officials say they're taking every precaution in the event it does arrive. Kern County Superintendent of Schools office just wrapped up a briefing to address the closure of their campuses later this week.
That's where we find 23 ABC's Bayan Wang. He is at the Superintendent of Schools building downtown with more on what was discussed just minutes ago. Bayan?
Yeah, Alyssa, Kern County school officials made it very clear that the 47 districts that they're asking to close by Wednesday, it's not a recommendation, it is a mandate. All schools in Kern County, K through 12, charter schools, preschools, they are all required to close by Wednesday. Now, they're going to cancel SAT testing. They haven't decided if these kids are going to make up the lost days at the end of the school year. But what they did say was that 77% of these kids depend on vital resources that these schools provide. 33% of those kids live in poverty, and this is exactly why they said that the governor's address yesterday, calling out the Kern High School District for being one of the last of 25 school districts of its size to close, was because of the uniqueness of the Kern County community and the amount of resources that these children who attend these schools rely on those school districts. Now, there is one big theme here at this press conference, and that was, what are parents going to do with childcare? Where are their kids going to be watched after while they're at work? The superintendent, Dr. Barlow, said that there is a task force trying to determine just what various businesses around the community could do, what the schools in those various districts can do to provide these child care services. And then for further education, the homework, how are they going to continue their education when they get home? Well, there's another task force assigned to see which kids have technology at home, who has access to internet. For those who don't, the districts are all putting together thousands of packets for language arts and math specifically so that they could continue their education at home. And then meals, 33% of these kids live in poverty, many of them depending on the school for food. There's a task force for that as well, but what they did say was that any kid who doesn't have any food, whether they are at child care service or at home, there is a service that will be providing food for those kids. We'll have a lot more for you in our evening shows. For now, we're live in downtown. Bayan Wang, 23 ABC, connecting you.
All right, Bayan, and a lot of those specifics are still being worked out, which is 2 more days before those kids are cut loose from class. Now, the county health department was also on hand at this morning's press conference. The director of public health, Matt Constantine, once again stressing that right now there are no cases of COVID-19 in Kern County.
Yeah, in California, there have been 335 cases with 6 deaths as of 5 o'clock yesterday. 23 ABC's Leslie Gooden was also at today's press conference and joins us there with more on the health department aspect. Leslie?
Yes, the hour-long press conference just wrapped up, and it was with conjunction with the Kern County Superintendent's Office and also the Kern County Public Health Office, and they have confirmed there are no cases of the virus here, but they are recommending some changes as well, and they want to make sure that you guys are keeping updated because, like we said before, this is all changing by the hour, actually minutes. And the public health shared the current numbers across the nation. There are over 1,600 cases of coronavirus with 41 deaths throughout the U.S. Also, there were a total of 30 travelers here in Kern County that have been monitored by the CDC, and 17 have been either tested negative for the virus or they were completed their quarantine process. And as of now, the other 13 are continuing to be monitored and they are checking in daily with officials for their symptoms. Now, they did announce that there has been a change for the testing as of Monday. Now, there was a restriction for doctors to give you the test. You had to show dire symptoms regarding the virus. Now, that has changed due to other testing options. Now, you can request that from your doctor. Now, it depends on if you have to pay for that. It really depends on your provider, whether some of those providers you can call and ask them. They are waiving those fees, so be sure to ask for that when you go in. For now, in Bakersfield, Leslie Gooden, 23 ABC News, connecting you.
All right, Leslie, thanks. Also new this morning, we are learning from College Board. They have announced that they are canceling their SAT test scheduled for May 2nd. Now, makeup exams scheduled for March 28th are also canceled. College Board says registered students will receive refunds. They also added that they are trying to be as flexible as possible to give students the best chance to show their skills to stay on that pathway to college. College Board also saying that they have not yet canceled the June 6th exam, but that is still yet to be determined depending on what circumstances around COVID-19 might look like for that test date.
All right, and we have a full list of the details behind each school district's closure as we got them all updated on our website, turn23.com. Also, you can see the entire press conference. We're going to get that posted here in just a few moments, along with our social media platforms. I know there was a lot of information that was handed down between the Health Department and the Kern County Superintendent of Schools office. That will allow you to go back and watch the press conference over and over again if you need to, in order to make sure you understand it completely. We'll, of course, be disseminating that information a little bit later today.
All right, we're going to check in with Elena now, get a look at our weather. Some schools in our mountain communities already closed today, not because of COVID, but because of weather.
Yeah. Snow, yeah. And many people were like, but it's not snowing, I'm confused. Well, the buses could have gotten the kids to school this morning just fine. It may be hard for those buses to get the kids back. So El Cajon, Tehachapi, and many other schools in the area like Peak Mountain Charter all said, you know what, let's call it a snow day. The storm is on the way, and here's today's pattern. You see it's rain for Central California, heavy snow in the Sierra to our north, but some measurable snow expected here in Kern County this afternoon into this evening. You can see over the last 6 hours, it's just been clipping the northwestern portion of Kern County, but it continues to push in. Now that we're heading into lunchtime, see some of that sunshine in the South Valley, and we're at 66 in Bakersfield. I actually just busted my forecast because I went 64 for today. Now this is our high for the day. This is the warmest we get, and that's actually relatively warm. So as this rain comes in, gets a little unstable, could lead to some thunderstorms. Then we're cooling things right back down. Cold air comes rushing in, turning that rain to some snow. You're already seeing a couple flurries out there. Winter storm warning in effect 9 a.m. today through 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. And that's why those schools were saying, hey, you know what? Looks like a snow day. I'll show you the timing of the storm. We'll talk more about who gets how much snow coming up.
Getting back to the coronavirus, taking a look at the Dow right now. A huge plunge at the opening bell once again triggered the automatic 15-minute halt to trading. It had dropped 10%. It rose a bit after that, but then currently it is back down about 2,300 points. The market losing about almost 10% still as of this moment.
The spread of the novel coronavirus is continuing to climb. Across the U.S., there are now more than 3,000 cases. School systems, including right here in Kern County, are closing, leaving tens of millions of students at home.
That's right. City and states also ordering bars to close, and in some areas, they're ordering restaurants to close as well. There's growing concern now about healthcare workers who are treating infected patients and then becoming themselves infected. Here's ABC's Trevor Alt.
Unprecedented changes are rolling out across the country in hopes of slowing the relentless spread of the novel coronavirus.
We have developed and are beginning to implement now a process and a program of testing that will enable Americans who are in need of coronavirus testing to be tested.
Nationwide, at least 64,000 schools closed, impacting nearly 30 million students from Los Angeles to Milwaukee to New York City, the largest school district in the country.
There's so many public servants we depend on, our first responders, transit workers, healthcare workers who need their kids to be in school. It's going to be very difficult for a lot of families.
At airports, Americans shoulder to shoulder in crammed lines, waiting hours for medical screenings, concerned about contracted COVID-19 because of the lack of social spacing. NBA athlete Donovan Mitchell, who contracted the coronavirus, speaking out on GMA today.
I think that's the scariest part about this virus is that, you may seem fine, be fine, and you never know who you may be talking to, who they're going home to.
And as more confirmed cases spread here at home, officials already fear overwhelming strain on the healthcare system.
We don't have the capacity, a state, to build more hospitals quickly. The only way would be if the Army Corps of Engineers came in, worked with the states to retrofit existing buildings.
A number of healthcare workers have already tested positive for COVID-19, a nurses union in Ohio demanding more protective equipment to safeguard against infected patients.
We are very concerned that when this virus peaks, that we have enough of this equipment for our nurses to take care of our patients properly.
Health officials continue to urge Americans to social distance and work from home if at all possible, even if it seems excessive. The head of the National Institute of Infectious Diseases says that if the American public does this correctly, it's going to feel like an overreaction, even though it isn't. Trevor Ault, ABC News, New York.
And we know you have lots of questions surrounding coronavirus, so the 23 ABC team has teamed up with Adventist Health to help get you the facts. Join us tomorrow afternoon for a Facebook Live Q&A where experts will answer all of your questions during our live stream. That's happening tomorrow at 2 p.m. on our 23 ABC Facebook page.
Additional coronavirus legislation is on the way. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says he's been talking to committee members about, quote, the next steps. Those include assisting Americans dealing with financial hardships and boosting the healthcare system. McConnell's statement follows the House passing a second package this weekend. The House's bill has provisions that increase unemployment insurance and a national paid sick leave program. Some Republicans, though, like Wisconsin Senator Ron Johnson, have issues with the bill, saying the paid sick leave provision is only going to hurt small business.